Good morning, everyone. With a heavy heart, for my people in Iran in these very hard situations. And today I will have an interview with Vickie Hlady-MacDonald. It's one of the interview series which is called Echoes of Inspiration. And yes, okay. Hi, waiting for Vickie to join me. Hi, Vickie.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everybody today?
Okay, thank you, thank you. Everything seems good except for the bad situation for my country in Iran. So my heart is heavy. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us with another interview from the Echoes of Inspiration and Conversation from Heart, which is a series of interviews with um, passionate advocates of children who are deaf and hard of hearing, and we cover um, some amazing topics. How are you, Vickie?
I'm very good today. I'm very excited to be here with you. It's one of the best things in my life has been being a speech pathologist and auditory verbal therapist. It has been more than a job or a profession for me. I really feel this has been a vocation, and I am always excited to share my experiences with families, with professionals, with anybody who's interested in listening.
Great. Okay, so this interview with Vickie Hlady-MacDonald will be a 20 minutes um, interview today, and let's start it. So, Vickie, thank you so much for being with us today.
Mhm.
You have spent I was checking your bio, and I found that you have spent over 3 decades supporting deaf and hard of hearing children and their families. And we are so honored to learn about your journey more today. I know you. I have the honor to knowing you for some years, but it's a great opportunity even for me to know you more. So let's start with your story. So I want to ask, what drew you to this work? So, like, what first drew you to the field of speech language pathology and specifically auditory verbal therapy?
It's a long story that goes back far in my life to the 1960s when I was in grade one. And my grade one teacher brought her little sister into class for the day and wanted us to learn about children who had hearing loss. So her little sister was considered deaf and hard of hearing. She wore the 1960s style hearing aids, which looked like a Walkman transmitter, like an old radio with a cord and earbuds in. And she had her sister reading the date off of the chalkboard. And most of the kids around me stood up and applauded for her for speaking and saying those words. But I kind of looked around. I said, well, of course she can hear and of course she can speak because she has that thing on and someone's helped her. So from a very early age, I believed that even because a child has a disability doesn't mean that they can't learn how to do something with the right supports. And that was back in a time when really there were very few supports for children with any kind of exceptionalities. Fast forward to when I was in university, and one of my linguistics professors as an undergraduate got me interested in the topic of how do typical hearing children who have ASL deaf parents learn how to speak, because their role models would be in ASL from early on. What supports are necessary for those children who have typical hearing to learn how to speak? And so that turned into my master's project as a speech pathologist. And at that time, I had a placement at the Bob Rumble Center for the Deaf in Toronto, as well as a placement with the North York General Hospital auditory verbal program with Warren Estabrook. So those two placements really consolidated what I wanted to be involved in as a speech pathologist for basically the rest of my life. And early in my career, I spent a little bit of time in schools with children who had developmental disabilities, and then in mainstream environments. And following my first maternity leave, I was given the position of the speech pathologist with the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program in the local school board, and along with that came the opportunity to do some training with Anita Bernstein and Voice for Deaf and Hard of Hearing Children. And so that in the early 90s launched the rest of what I've been doing for as you said, the past 3 decades.
Yeah.
It has been the best learning opportunity that I ever had, and I have met the most amazing professionals and families who really have become my extended family. I'm still in contact with many of my students and know what they're up to, and am just so impressed and astonished at what they have been able to accomplish, because truly the sky is the limit. There is nothing that children with hearing loss cannot do, given the right supports and opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Actually, you covered some of my questions. Thank you. And you know what? This is exactly how I feel. I think this is common with the professionals working in this field. So it's not just work, it's a love, it's our extended family. It looks like it's part of our life and part of our heart. And actually we cannot, cut it from ourselves, because it's all about passion and love, and we enjoy doing things. So
Yeah.
I really like what you mentioned. So I was thinking, was there a child, family, or moment early in your career in that confirmed that yes, that's the work I want to do? And you said yes. And
I'll tell you that the toughest interview that I've ever had in my life was when I came back from maternity leave, and I took on the position with the Hearing Resource Program. And the first parent through the door was a voice parent, and she grilled me. She wanted to know what my background was, how many children with hearing loss I'd ever met, how I would deal with certain situations. I had to sit down after she left, because she had such high standards for my professionalism and for her child. She didn't want just somebody with so experience. She wanted the best for her child. So after I kind of recovered from the shock of that, I really stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I'm going to follow up with this mentorship that I've been given. And I immersed myself head over heels. My whole family was involved. My children had to come with me when I went on placements for study with other professionals. So when I went to the Helen Beebe Center in Philadelphia, my husband and my two kids came along with me, and they spent their time touring around while I was immersed in clinics. They followed me to Toronto. They followed me wherever I needed to go to get the extra training, and they put up with having their toys stolen at nighttime and disappearing into the trunk of Mommy's car because she took them to work. So it has been a full sharing experience with my family.
Great, great. So actually, I just like to listen to you for hours. Amazing.
Stops.
Okay, so I want to go to the family-centered early intervention in practice. So when do you think about the family-centered early intervention? What does it truly mean to you beyond theory, I mean? And how did you support parents to feel confident, empowered, and centered in their children's development?
Oh, that's a big question. Parents are essential. In auditory verbal approach, the parent is the star of the show. I am there to guide and coach the parent, but the parent is the primary educator for their child. It's something, it's never too early to start. You can start AV intervention for your child before they get any technology. As soon as you suspect that there's a hearing loss. The techniques that we used are what's good for overall language development. So it applies to every language there is. In fact, AV focuses on using the family's primary language, like the family of the language of the home is the language that should be used for communication. So we're helping parents use that heart language to help their child learn how to communicate.
Right.
I
So
was talking. Go ahead.
No, I want just to ask if you can share an example how listening to a family rather than leading them change the outcome for the child.
Um, how that it, I haven't worked with kids who have not been in their family. If you look at language development, I always tell people that you have to have interaction with fluent role models who can modify their speed and their complexity of speech to meet the needs of the learner in a natural environment. So language learning does not happen in a clinic. Just like learning how to play a piano doesn't happen in a lesson. It's the hours of practice outside of that lesson that make the difference. Children need to have sensory access to the language. So with a spoken language, they need to be able to hear it. They need to have ongoing back and forth turn taking and imitation, what some speech pathologists call serve and return, with somebody who loves them and is there for them and is modifying the speed and the complexity of their language all day, every day, in every interaction. So I find that parents who have had a child with hearing loss, who are applying learning to listen strategies, and later on siblings that they do this naturally with, seem to develop very quickly. In fact, I saw that with my own children and my granddaughter as well. She never ceases to surprise me. She could say, "I want a pomegranate, please," before she was 2 years old. So it's like it's that serve and return, that turn taking and imitation is
Great.
like magic. And
Yeah, great.
I am never cease to be impressed with what the human brain can do.
Yes. So, Vicky, may I ask you to just shortly tell us about ABT therapy, LSLS? So maybe we have some families or people listening to us that do not have, an insight to it. Like very short.
So, auditory verbal therapy is a spoken language approach, which is parent centered. So, the auditory verbal therapist or interventionist guides and supports the parents in promoting spoken language for their child. Children would have to be diagnosed as early as possible with a hearing loss, having early and well-fit hearing devices, whether that's hearing aids, a cochlear implant, or an auditory brainstem implant. They need to use their technology through all waking hours. And the goal is for children to be able to be mainstreamed in their local school setting, that they should develop spoken language alongside their normal hearing siblings and peers. So the goal is for them to have age appropriate spoken language communication so that when they go to school, they can learn how to read and write along with their same aged peers. We want to have
Great, thank
a
you.
literate taxpayer at the end of this, one
Mm-hmm.
who can live their life in society and contribute.
Yeah.
Some of my students are, well, biophysicists, airplane pilots, nurses,
Oh,
doctors, lawyers,
great.
teachers. They can do anything.
Great, great. Okay, so you mentioned many professionals pursuing LSLS and certification, and you were one of them. And so, what do you believe is the most important quality in someone working with deaf and hard of hearing children and their families?
Um, you have to I think respect for the families and the culture of the family is one of the important things. You have to be able to be flexible uh, in setting your lessons and goals with the family so that the needs of the family are what you're addressing first and foremost. There's not a recipe to doing this where you can say, I'm going to start at lesson A that I've done with every other. It's all individualized. Um, so again, you have to be flexible, and I think you have to be you certainly need to be knowledgeable regarding hearing loss, all of the technology involved, all of the different medical information that causes hearing loss and can change trajectory of ability to listen and hear. But I think it's that flexibility and respect for families is the first thing.
Thank you so much. So another thing, looking back, what makes you like most proud? Not just outcome. I mean, how you practiced.
The thing that makes me most proud is um, hearing about the kids and their achievements, that they've made it, that they have graduated from high school or graduated from university and gone on to do what they want to do. I've had a few wedding invitations from students and got to see their own children. So I guess I'm dating myself when somebody who was 3 when I started now has children who are 10, 11, and 12 years old. It's amazing to see them happy in their life. And also to get feedback from the moms, because sometimes the kids saw me when they were very little and they don't even remember who Miss Vickie was. It's the parents who will send updates regarding how their adult children are doing, and that's what gives me the pleasure, pride in having made a difference.
So, what message of hope do you have if there is a parent listening to us right now with a new diagnosed deaf child?
Oh, there, it's an emotional roller coaster, but you will make it. Um, cry your heart out. Talk to your family. Talk to your friends. You need to go through that grief. You might need to become involved with a parental support group like Voice for Deaf and Hard of Hearing Children, or Alexander Graham Bell, or Hands and Voices. Across the world, there's all kinds of support groups for families whose children are identified with hearing loss. A lot of parents used to feel that this was the end of a dream for them. You're born, when babies are born, you want them to be healthy and well and all their fingers and toes, and when that doesn't happen, it can be crushing. That don't try to avoid that. You have to feel that, but know that on the other side of that, there is a whole new world that is wonderful, and it really, for a lot of families, provides that extra opportunity to love their child even more, because how you communicate with them and the intensity of that communication and the focus on that creates a bond that is so strong and so powerful. That's one of the best things.
Yeah, thank you, So let's go to the reflection and like legacy and looking ahead. So we are interviewing Vickie, amazing Vickie, Hlady-MacDonald today. This is one of the Faranak Impact interview series, which calls Echoes of Inspiration. We started at 10 o'clock, and actually we have around 10 minutes left. So, Vickie, now as a grandparent, how has the new role shaped the way you reflect on your professional life?
I'll tell you, the hardest thing I have done is to surrender my license as a speech pathologist, which it just happened back in the fall, at the end of September this year. And I spent a week probably questioning, did I do the right thing? But being in full retirement now has opened up opportunity for me to continue developing my skills as I interact with my granddaughter. And again, it's just a joy to hear her learn how to speak and see the week to week changes and in her interests. It reinforces that reading to a child, singing with a child, dancing with a child, being involved in the things that interest them is what promotes spoken language. And I am so happy to be involved in this phase of my life, because it has really brought back a lot of joy for me.
And what gives you hope when you think about the future of early intervention for deaf and hard of hearing children, specifically in Canada and like Ontario?
Yeah. I think that we have amazing professionals in our audiology profession who are developing and fine-tuning the technology so that children with hearing loss can have clearer access than ever with their hearing technology. So when I started, we only had analog hearing aids that had a volume wheel that you had to turn up or turn down the volume. And now we have hearing aids that can scan the environment, determine whether there's background noise, highlight speech, can Bluetooth connectivity. You can connect to all kinds of devices, and the hearing is crystal clear. I'm a hearing aid user myself, and I have been for the past 5 years. So I love the ability to connect my hearing aids right to my phone or to Bluetooth on my TV so I can hear without overwhelming everybody else around me. It's just amazing what they can do. But I'll say as a caveat that even as an experienced person in the field of hearing loss, first wearing hearing aids was an adjustment. My voice seemed so much louder, and it took a little while for me to adjust. So even knowing everything that I know, parents need to understand that their child will go through um, a, a learning phase when they first get access to their technology. It's not going to be completely natural at first. It's going to take time. So give yourself time to get used to it. But keep it on. Keep it on anyhow. Like I had to go into a quiet space sometimes because sometimes the mall or traffic can be overwhelming and loud. So my hearing breaks were not taking my devices off, but we're going to a place that was calmer and quieter so that I could rest and recover. And now I can tolerate parties now. It's okay.
Great. Actually, I enjoyed a lot listening to your, words and your experience. And Vickie, thank you so much for your wisdom, your compassion, and the legacy you've created for families and professionals working with deaf and hard of hearing children. You did a lot, and just a big thank you to you.
Well, thank you, Gita. It's again, it's not a job. It's a vocation. You, uh, and I know that a lot of my colleagues would say the same thing. They're doing what they're doing, not because it's a good paying job, but because they really believe in their clients and they want the best for their future.
Thank you so much. This is the end of one of our amazing, interviews with people passionate in this field, professionals, deaf and hard of hearing people, and like parents. We had in this year, 2025, we had more than 11 interviews with um, awesome people like yourself, Vickie. And I invite everyone to just follow us on our social media with Faranak Impact and Faranak Foundation. Please check our website. It's not, that much completed, but it's it's something. Um, FaranakFoundation.com. And if you want to be an interviewee with us, you can just send us a message and we will get back to you. And if there's any questions, if you have any suggestions, recommendations, or if even you have a question from Vickie, just write it down under the post and we'll get back to you. And yeah, okay. Thank you, Vickie, and thank you all who were with us today. And do you have Anything to add, Vickie, for the end?
Just we have such a global access to everything that if parents are looking for auditory verbal therapy and it's not available in their area, go online. AG Bell has a list of all of the certified professionals across the world, and there are a lot of people who are providing services via the internet. So if just because it's not available in your local school or hospital program doesn't mean you don't have access. There's lots of access across the planet now. So go for it. It's great.
Thank you. And I would like to add that on our website, faranakfoundation.com, under resources webpage, we have, put a lot of resources there, including AGBL, list of LSLS professionals, FCI, deaf community resources, everything. So thank you again and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.